Hello and welcome. Today we are diving into an idea that might sound, well, a little backwards at first. What if the real key to speaking more smoothly wasn't about trying not to stutter, but actually doing it on purpose? Let's get into it. I know, it sounds totally paradoxical, right? Why would you ever intentionally do the very thing you're working so hard to stop? But stick with me here, because the psychology behind this is actually incredibly solid, and it all begins by understanding what the real enemy is. You see, for so many people who stutter, every conversation can feel like this high-stakes performance. The main goal becomes just trying to hide it, to pass as fluent. And that constant effort, that secret keeping, creates this massive underlying layer of stress. And here is the really cruel twist. That fear of stuttering is the number one thing that fuels it. It puts your brain on high alert, right? That stress creates very real physical tension in your jaw, your tongue, your vocal cords, which, you guessed it, makes an involuntary, tense stutter way more likely to happen. It's a vicious cycle, and it's powered by fear. So if trying to hide the stutter is actually part of the problem, then what on earth is the solution? Well, this is where we introduced a completely radical shift in thinking. It's called the Brave Stutter Framework, and it flips that whole dynamic on its head. So what is a brave stutter? It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a choice. It's the act of intentionally stuttering on a simple word, a word that you feel pretty confident you could say smoothly if you wanted to. This isn't a moment of losing control, it's a moment of taking it back. And this really shows you the huge difference. A typical fear stutter feels involuntary, it's tense, it's super stressful. But a brave stutter? That is chosen, it's relaxed, and most importantly, it's controlled. You are the one calling the shots. And believe me, that changes everything about the experience. Okay, but how? How does doing the scary thing on purpose actually make things better? Well, it all boils down to the fascinating psychology of retraining your brain's fear response. This is the absolute core of the whole thing. Every time you choose to stutter and nothing bad happens, the person you're talking to doesn't run away, the world doesn't stop spinning, you're giving your brain concrete proof that the fear is just overblown. And as that fear shrinks, so does the physical tension, and that's what allows your natural fluency to finally come through. Here's a great little analogy for this. Think back to when you were a kid playing hide and seek. What's the scariest part? It's hiding, right? It's that anticipation of getting found, you're tense, you're holding your breath, just waiting. But what happens the second you decide to just jump out and yell, "Here I am"? The fear just vanishes. Poof, gone. Why? Because you took control. You ended the suspense. You became the boss of the game. That is exactly what a brave stutter does. It puts you back in the driver's seat. And this idea of taking control isn't just a mind game. It's about building a real, practical skill. Here's another way to think about it. Imagine learning to drive on an icy road. The first time your car skids, it is absolutely terrifying because you feel a complete loss of control. So, what do driving instructors tell you to do? They tell you to go find a big, empty, icy parking lot and practice skidding on purpose. You learn how it feels. You build the muscle memory to steer into the skid, not away from it. Then, when it happens for real on the highway, your body already knows what to do. You don't panic, you just handle it. So that's the why behind this whole thing. Now let's talk about the how. The cool thing is there's a really clear step-by-step plan to start building this new skill in a way that feels safe and totally manageable. Okay, first up is easy mode, just you and a mirror. You're going to stutter on your own name over and over until it feels completely boring. The goal here is just to take the emotional charge out of it. Next, you'll level up to medium mode, the low-stakes bounce. When you're buying a coffee or something, you just intentionally add a little easy stutter, like, "Can I get a receipt?" You'll see, nothing happens. And finally, there's challenge mode, the name reveal. This is the big one. When you introduce yourself to someone, you choose to stutter on your own name. It's the ultimate move in taking control of a word that often holds the most fear. When you start doing this, you'll find that what's really changing is your entire relationship with speech. It's a huge shift. You're moving from a mindset where you feel like a victim of fear to one where you are an agent of control. And I love how the source material puts this. Reclaiming your name is the ultimate power move. Think about that. Choosing to stutter on the one word that is most fundamental to who you are, that's an incredible act of courage and self-acceptance. It sends a message to your own brain and to the world that you are the one in charge here. And this really brings us to a much bigger idea, doesn't it? Because while this framework is specifically about stuttering, the principle behind it is universal. Taking a small, voluntary, controlled step towards something you're afraid of is one of the most powerful ways to shrink its control over you. So the question I'll leave you with is this: what fear in your life could you face by choice